a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Can you run a test on the Wi-Fi?
I just rebooted everything because I'm doing some adjustments with the phones.
Okay.
So it should be coming back up within 3 minutes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I should have sent a warning, but Josh wants some switches changed. I'm gonna send out a thing. The text cell phone is going to be just for text to be calling out to do business there. Calls to the facility are going to come to that office or the desktop phone there.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
because he wants it set up to steer to where, if someone's trying, even though the first choice is admissions when they call there, they want it set up to, if they do end up getting the facility, to where the facility can just hit a button and forward it back to whoever's on call.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna hire somebody to just sit there on the phone all day. Because I guess when Courtney gets on the phone, Ryan's on the phone, Nick's not working, or Nick's on the phone, there's calls that are getting missed. And that's what they said. I don't know. I don't see the logs.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Okay. Who is this Josh person?
He's the guy that's running like all the SEO shit and online stuff that they were doing.
Is that the same guy we had before? They just brought him back? Oh, okay. He just has a different company name?
It's a different guy.
Oh.
He's been working for a little while now, a couple months. You talked to him on the phone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's just it's not the same company name, it's a new, he made his own new company or whatever.
He must have. Maybe that's why he's changing his email.
All right, cool. I'll send him an invite.
All right. I think the Wi-Fi's back up now.
Yeah, it's like I said, it usually takes at the most 5 minutes. So.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Thanks, Doc.
Bye.
Bye.
Handle the voice of Vladimir Putin. Nobody is allowed to interfere. I've got it too.
Sorry, guys.
Of like
Hey, someone somewhere.
on SNL in the manner he was, or throughout CNN's coverage of the ivermectin stuff. What do you do with that? You don't want that introduced into the mainstream. Is that something you want to cut off? Like MAGA,
Doing some tech work,
Joe
remote
Rogan,
tech work.
people challenging that Hiroshima and Nagasaki were good things. Whoa! We're throwing a lot of stuff out. In this, you get more diplomacy than in the Democratic Party's policy at the moment, and you certainly get more discourse, and you certainly get more open-mindedness. So how dare those institutions be critical, condemnatory, and dismissive of Joe Rogan and what Joe Rogan represents, which is plainly a huge portion of the American population. And after this, thank God, because those people will be hearing, yeah, hang on a minute, you can't just keep bombing everyone and expect it all to kind of just work out. It's being reasoned, it's actually quite soft, quite gentle, reflective, non-confrontational, diplomatic. It's sort of everything you'd want. Because of someone licking a bloody ice cream or Lindsey Graham saying bomb them. These are mainstream political figures. And I think perhaps something I'd not really considered before is one of the symptoms of the emergent independent media space is like people are going, I'd rather have that person as president. Hey, that person's better. Like you start to see that they're not an elite class. Like Boris Johnson wasn't made in a laboratory as far as we know, and that Joe Biden doesn't have a divine right to rule, and the Clintons aren't better and cleverer than everyone else, and all those Ivy League schools and all of those institutions and CNN and MSNBC, they're not cleverer than ordinary people. They're not better. And once you start to challenge those hierarchies, you start to see it quake on a fundamental issue like war, you realize, that's what's happening now. The system is falling apart, new things are emerging, and the people that need it to stay the same are trying to create endless crises to legitimize ever-increasing authoritarianism.
Until someone launches nukes. Yeah, but if you think about you're a kid rock and you don't know why there's a conflict between Palestine and Israel, and you're living in Palestine, and then they start bombing, and then they kill your mom. Yeah, but you didn't do, but you didn't do anything.
Sounds like Bud Light.
And then
You have to let that go at some point.
you get guns, you're gonna go want to attack people. You're gonna want to avenge them. You're gonna want to join whatever group whatever.
So why did
terrorist
World
group.
War II end?
You might not think that that's an earth-shattering observation from Joe Rogan, but if you take a moment to reflect on the consequences of the Afghanistan and Iraq war and how closely they align with his prognosis for this conflict, you start to recognize that it might be valuable to have Anthony Blinken or Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi or Hillary Clinton or any one of these people say, look, the problem is with this ever-escalating tension in the Middle East is that it can't really ever end, can it? Even if you annihilate everybody there, wouldn't that ultimately lead to sympathy and more fracture, fissure and war within the region? And with this conflict between Ukraine and Russia, ultimately, isn't that going to lead to an ever-escalating crisis with a nuclear-armed superstate? And what's the point in provoking China? You don't have to do this for very long. And bearing in mind this is a conversation with Joe Rogan and Kid Rock, before you start to question the entire geopolitical agenda. And people are doing that on an unprecedented scale. And that is why you've now got a censorship industrial complex. That's why you've got two political parties that basically agree with one another on absolutely everything. And that's why you've got a discontented population that are actually crying out for change. Whether it's people on the cultural left or people on the cultural right, they're crying out for change. We don't want these institutions posing as democracy anymore, because when it comes to a clear-cut subject like war, it's all they're advocating for. There's no one in the political space saying anything as radical as Joe Rogan. In fact, I don't think there's anyone on MSNBC or CNN saying, isn't this going to escalate endlessly and potentially on that particular issue? I don't know how it all carves up anymore. That's why I have a position of why don't we not have any wars and always look for an immediate diplomatic solution where possible, and in particular align with the people that are in an inferior position and lend the might of the global community, in particular the United States nation, towards the trajectory of peace and diplomacy, as Joe Rogan is advocating for there, rather than arming them and having various positions dependent on the conflict. The attitude towards Ukraine is clearly different from the attitude on Israel, and that's a problem because it means there are no values or principles at the heart of it, just an agenda that relates to their long-term objectives, surely.
No, I'm sorry, man. This is fucking war. It's terrible. It's the worst thing on earth. I'm a peaceful man.
Well, I hope so, Kid Rock, but, you know, the Budweiser thing and the Nagasaki thing, again, I might meet Kid Rock one day and I look forward to it. Don't be too condemnatory.
Right, but you're not supposed to pick civilian targets. That's actually a
You
war
can't
crime.
fight war like that.
Joe Rogan, that's actually a war crime, what you've done there. It seems like a more reasoned way to run the country. Isn't this the perfect compromise that everybody wants? Isn't this what the Republican demographic sort of wants? Isn't this what the demographic ultimately wants? I mean, aren't these issues, on the whole, more important than some of the cultural arguments that we're having? We have a media establishment that wants you locked in an unwinnable quarrel about gun ownership and abortion, when those subjects will be secondary to Armageddon, which is where both parties are steering us.
Yeah,
But you're not supposed
they're
to pick
hiding in civilian
targets.
targets.
They are.
It will be easy to dismiss this encounter as a chat between a right-wing conspiracy theorist in the form of Kid Rock and eccentric, except that points in this dialogue are an exchange of exactly what you
Let's go on.
hear from the most hawkish element in Congress. Nikki Haley, Lindsey Graham, bomb them, almost literal quotes. So in that moment, Kid Rock is a conduit for views that are available to you on
50
mainstream media through members of Congress. And Joe Rogan is demonstrating more diplomacy, sensitivity and understanding than the most sensitive members of the Democratic Party, and advocating for peace in ways that are more articulate than you're likely to hear in your own nation's Congress.
like it.
Isn't that cause for concern? Isn't that why society is changing? And isn't the inability to accommodate this kind of discourse why we're experiencing so much censorship, so much decay, so much disarray in our cultural spaces? It's not for no reason that Joe Rogan's become the phenomenon that he has become. We could see it play out live there, sensitive, diplomatic and considered, at a point where those in positions of power making decisions with your tax dollars and the lives of real people around the world don't have an iota of the sensitivity
Hey, Polo.
that we've just seen displayed for a massive audience
Denizen.
that the mainstream media are happy to dismiss as a basket of deplorables, as
Ruby
MAGA
Sands.
extremists, as meatheads. As
I didn't pause it, it just
They're
glitched.
very dismissive about that. What ought happen in any sense
working
of
on,
culture is that you should see that as a
I'm remotely
forum where
working
ideas
at a
are
computer
exchanged in
right
an
now, or
interesting and
system.
meaningful way. And especially,
On the same
as I
laptop
say,
I'm
it
streaming
would
on.
be better off if Congress Congress took a leaf out of Joe Rogan's book than the reverse. They're the ones pretending they're the adults. They're like, Joe Rogan, he doesn't have a tie. I've got a newsroom back there. And people are, well, Joe Rogan might be happy to peddle those conspiracy theories. What? Conspiracy theories like that's a war crime? Conspiracy theories like if you perpetuate a cycle of war, it will ultimately
No,
lead to the
that
apocalypse.
I will
So,
agree
whether
with.
you think Kid Rock is an eccentric and Joe Rogan's a conspiracy theorist,
Kid Rock is-
entirely up to you. But the fact is that Kid Rock's views are popular in Congress and indeed are currently literally
Really?
informing policy. That's what's happening. He's not saying, I wish this should happen. Alas, that is happening. And Joe Rogan is reasoned, seasoned, a good communicator, a good thinker, and a diplomatic envoy. The truth is, we'd probably be better off in the hands of Joe Rogan than we would in the hands of Joe Biden. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think in the chat. See you in a second.
No, here's the fucking news.
Glitches! What? Okay, we got some interesting comments. Jamie Jam, you have to wonder if people with views like this would go to pieces if they actually saw a war firsthand. I wonder that myself, Jamie Jam, my friend in the local stream. You getting on all right over there, you awake and wonders? How's the glitches? I'm talking to you, Liquor Giant. I'm talking to you, H Salty Sayan.
There are some updates for these phones available. Here we go.
Own it. Curry King 3200, Alien from Mars, all of you lot. I welcome your free speech. Yeah, we hit that 20,000 even with the glitches, even with the cyber attacks. We just keep going, don't we? We cannot be stopped. Like many powerful fossil fuels, you know, the CEO of Exxon says, it's your fault. It's your fault, climate change. It's your fault. Let's have a look. The world isn't on track to meet its climate goals. Oh no, and it's the public's fault, a leading oil company CEO told journalists. This is in a sense where organisations like WEF lead us to create change that doesn't impede the progress of powerful global corporations, but facilitates the ongoing blame and further control and regulation of what you might call ordinary people. When I say ordinary, I mean just everyone who's not in charge of a massive corporation. Exxon Mobil core CEO Darren Woods told editors from Fortune that the world has waited too long to begin investing in a broader suite of technologies to slow planetary heating. In his comments on Tuesday, we argued the dirty secret is that customers are willing to pay
so yeah, so we did install those the voice over IP phones there at the tech desk. There's one in Missions 2. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have it steered whenever they hit 2 to go to the facility. It'll go not to that stupid cell phone that nobody answers anyway, or when they do, they give out the number when they shouldn't. They could simply just hit a button on the desktop phone there that hasn't really been used since we got it, and to forward the number to whoever's on call or directly to Courtney. And I'll set up forwarding numbers for them. All they have to do is hit in the contacts, just forward to that bump, and then click, and it'll ring right to whatever cell phone they want to send it to.
Matt Gates, is he the attorney?
Yep. Yeah, it'll still go through the tracking system. So yeah.
When we form board at Charisma, we know.
All right, and I'm actually working on that now.
And so we think Hunter Biden, you know a lot about shale gas.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's virtually the same system we have now. I mean, unless we do make that decision to. They haven't gotten back to me yet as to whether they're capable of us porting the number and still being able to do the steering that we need. So that's why I didn't get back to you on that. But yeah, as far as
talking about
all right, no worries.
Charisma board member Hunter Biden, who's only tangentially
that's the Jew that owns the place.
His ability at operating a pipe. I say this as a common crackhead myself. Let's get into it.
Matthew.
I'd say that there were a number of interesting moments, but perhaps none.
Toasty.
Eyebrow. You like it? I like it. It's a good eyebrow. It's like a Ben Shapiro eyebrow, I would say. So like he's got that kind of, he's got a swooping, triangular quality to it, which I am not in any way against.
More interesting than when Hunter Biden told us that he joined.
All right, what's going on here? Why does Russell keep freezing?
The Burisma board to counter Russian aggression. I hadn't heard that one before. That thank goodness we had Hunter Biden on the Burisma board because that was central to his strategy to stand up to Vladimir Putin.
I remember him. He did that amazing speech, didn't he, when someone else was coming to Speaker of the House? And he goes, "I don't care about your funding." He was pretty funny. No, I like this dude.
So, no, he's been responsive to questions.
You big donors, you should stop it. Russell, have you seen the ice wall? No, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, we've asked those questions, and there is an illusory value. It is a mirage.
An illusory value, a mirage. This is my kind of man. Get him on the show. He speaks my language. Someone who says, what are you saying? Carl Reiner, I don't think that's true. He looks like a grown-up child actor. That's very funny.
Right.
That's funny. Who said that? Someone in the Rumble chat went, he looks like a grown-up child actor. I know what you mean. I think you're talking about that kid out of the Munsters, isn't it? That's what you mean. That kid out of the Eddie Munster. There's some theories being conveyed in the Rumble chat. I'm not going to be repeating, even on the old glitchy stream of freedom.
To believe that.
Oh, it is his stream.
Engaged in international business.
Wrong, like he says, like, oh, he's forgotten his wife's name, but he was actually referring to someone else. Should we do that? And then should we see, like, Trump responding to Biden, which is a pretty good diss track that he issues. Let's have a look, first of all, at Biden on I think he's on Seth May. Failing show, low ratings.
The question of his age came up, and he deflected it at Donald Trump.
You gotta take a look at the other guy. He's about as old as I am, but he can't remember his wife's name.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's just his stream.
He was referring to a
Alright.
Weird, wild stuff. How are you all doing today?
Self. Chris.
What are pronouns?
Those are pronouns. Neo-pronouns. You have 62.
Parts of speech 6.
Them, theirs, themself. Chris.
What are pronouns?
Those are pronouns. Neo-pronouns. You have 62.
Parts of speech.
Neo-pronouns.
6.
Them, theirs, themself. Chris.
What are pronouns?
Those are pronouns. Neo-pronouns. You have...
Every part of our society has been infiltrated. That's right. We now have what are pronouns on Jeopardy. Neo-pronouns. Don't you just, they're not just regular old protons. They're not proton. Check your proton pack. It's not just pronouns. Good gravy. Good gravy. Every level of modern society is collapsing, except hanging out right here, right now. A couple of interesting stories I want to talk about. Doobie-doobie-doo. Where is this?
I wish I could 2 times him, but it's live.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. What's his name? Mark Cuban. Having a bit of a melty, but first I wanted to talk about Javier O'Keefe. Yimmy O'Keefe.
This was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Jeopardy is a thing that people have like a tradition of watching, and that's why they still watch it. They don't even know why they watch it anymore. Uh-oh, I see Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's trending. I assume that's in reference to... Oh, it is in reference to a white basketball player. I thought it was in reference to Talcum X. Can I give who a shout out? No. Oh, you're talking about the farmer? Shout out to Amos the farmer. Yeah. The milk story. Milk lemonade. Well, I don't know if you've been following the many various questionable court cases going on against former and current presidential hopeful Donald Trump. The one in New York where he has to pay $400 million for no reason whatsoever. The Georgia case, that's falling apart. I think Illinois tried taking him off the ballot yesterday, or is going to take him off the ballot. I'm sure the Supreme Court's going to rule against that kind of stuff. I suspect. It is a very weird time. A very weird time.
I agree with Russell. You can't even 1.25
in America and in the world, really. Well, the judge in the Donald Trump case, the one that refused basically to who's denied Trump's bid to stave off the $450 million civil fraud judgment, has been caught on tape, friends. Caught on tape.
I mean, even
showing
the liberal side of the
bias
SCOTUS
by
like,
none other than James O'Keefe. Just to give you a background, who this individual is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Interesting times.
A court of appeals on Wednesday ruled that denied Donald Trump's request, this was just yesterday, to pause the enforcement of a $450 million judgment for widespread business fraud, dealing a blow to the former president's efforts to delay payment. In a court filing asking for the pause earlier in the day, Trump had signaled that he doesn't have the cash to prevent the enforcement of the judgment. He asked an appeals court to put a hold on the monetary penalty as well as a series of other penalties in earlier this month by Justice Arthur Engoron. Okay, that's who is in question here, who found that Trump had inflated the value of his real estate holdings and his own net worth. Now, who gets that $450 million? That's something that most people don't really even know the answer to. Where does this, when a court says, oh, you're going to pay $450 million, to who? Who's the victim in this? Who's, it's corruption. Quite frankly, it's in my opinion, it's corruption. This is my opinion, of course.
Oh,
so
yeah,
this is a guy that,
people...
of course, he asked an appeals court to put a hold on the monetary penalties, well, series of the penalties, earlier ordered by Justice Arthur Engoron. Sounds like a demonic last name. Well, the judge got caught by Mr. O'Keefe in a hilarious workout session, caught on hidden camera, saying he gets a lot of hate mail, but he's strong. Well, because he's doing the bidding, he's doing what, he's being told to do. He knows that he'll be rewarded financially, probably. I don't know. That's just this wild speculation. I have no evidence of that. An insider where the judge works out at Equinox in Great Neck, New York. Why don't all these rich people have their own gyms? I'll never understand that. Why does Mark Cuban, guy's worth billions, why is he working out in some public gym? Why is this corrupt, in my opinion, judge in New York, why is he working out at 70 years old in some public gym? Why don't these people have like personal trainers and personal gyms? Anyway, an insider where the judge works out also recorded the judge, quote, creeping girls out. Sources say Engoron does this every visit each morning. The video shows a woman using a machine, clearly annoyed and gesturing with her hands for him to back off. A gym member and supporter of OMG responded to O'Keefe's question inside the gym. What time does the judge get here? Answering 5:30 a.m. He also was talking to somebody and apparently said, we've got to get these mega people out of New York State. I think I may have just answered my own question. There are no young girls to perv on in your home gym. That's exactly why they go. That must be exactly why they go. So this judge clearly biased.
Okay, she's not gonna say.
Clearly.
So I'm gonna go in there and try to talk to him.
All right. Okay. Here he is pumping iron, taking it to the limit. Yeah, taking it to the limit. I don't know how nobody recognizes.
O'Keefe, yeah, it's hilarious. Nobody,
So a fan
he's
recognizes
literally wearing an OMG
James
shirt.
O'Keefe in the gym.
I know why you're here too. What's that? I said I know why you're here.
I know why you're here.
100%. Like now usually.
That's killer. So a fan recognizes him and knows exactly why he's there, right?
About Arthur Engeron, the judge in Manhattan who fined Trump $354 million in damages, barring him from running businesses in New York City for 3 years. One source even sent us a video saying that Arthur Engeron creeps girls out in an Equinox gym in Long
Look at the
Island.
girl here.
At the end of the clip, the woman is visibly annoyed by the judge and tells him to back off, gesturing.
Whoa!
Others.
Oh my God! Everybody that goes after Trump is a degenerate. Everybody who's, I mean, look at what's happening in, what's happening in Georgia, right? And this, so that's obviously falling apart, right? That case is going to fall apart. Now, who knows what the Democrats will do to keep, that case moving forward. I think they hitched their wagons to the wrong horse. Also known as Gorilla. If she is known, her phone is titled Gorilla Grip P Word. That is her Bluetooth ID, I believe. The amazing individual, prosecuting Donald Trump in Georgia. But that's for another video.
Annoyed by the judge and tells him to back off, gesturing with her hands.
Get away from me, old man.
It is confirmed the Equinox he works out in at 5 a.m. is in Great Neck, New York. So we decided to work out alongside him.
What is he wearing, by the way? Those are some like boomer headphones. Huge fan. For what? Thanks for what you did.
Man, how much
Oh, okay. O'Keefe said that. All right, O'Keefe said that.
What's your day job?
I was wearing the OMG t-shirt which said O'Keefe Media Group. The judge didn't know who I was. My day job? I was in public. I print magazines. But I really need to watch.
John?
Here, you're all mine, man. So keep it on. Thank you.
Okay, well, I mean, he says I'm strong. I gotta turn on the music. We need to. Oh, wait. Wait, who said? I'm sorry. Who said we need to get them? Don't let him. Oh yeah. Okay. So he's saying I'm strong. All right. We need to get the MAGA Republicans. Lots of hate mail. It's out of control. He's definitely trying to bait him a little bit here. Yeah, good work, man. Not quite the confrontation I had hoped. It's more a curious that he's creeping on women at the bar or at the gym. That's a little more concerning.
Back from the strong. Well, he doesn't look very strong. It's very scrawny. And he told me that he was getting a lot of hate now. I told him I'm a huge fan. Don't let the bastard keep you down. And what a perfect metaphor, a perfect allegory here. Look at this. Looks like a scene out of Sleepy Hollow.
Not anymore.
Look at this fog.
Now to us.
Here we go.
You have more information about this judge or any judge or anything that the public has a right to know. Reach out to us on X, Instagram.
Yeah, okay. So not quite the bombshell, but it's interesting that it's almost like maybe he knew he was smart enough not to say anything. Like, I think he didn't go out of his way to basically say like, hey, this was a nonpartisan thing, blah, 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 blah. But he sure didn't seem, he sure didn't seem too, I don't know, averse to taking praise for sticking it to Trump. Now, again, I believe that this guy is a piece of trash. No idea where you come up with $350 million, $450 million fine or whatever like that. So
It's
now
crazy.
he's getting envelopes with powder in it, just like Trump Jr. Of course, powder is never anything but just powder. That's not a good look for Trump to have his supporters do that, which is why I don't think it was one of his supporters that probably sent them that. I think the judge probably knew he was getting baited. I think he kind of knew. I think he knew bad. I think he had a suspicion. That's just my opinion. But it'll be interesting. I think it's more curious that if a young woman were to go there, I suspect he'd probably sing like a canary. But all these people that seem to be prosecuting Trump are all garbage humans. That's how it seems. That's what it seems like to me. The whole thing is so weird. It's approximately what Trump has in cash, which is why he picked that number. Yeah. Yeah, James did come on too strong, I think. Yeah. I think he did suspect something. I think that's correct. I think he had a little suspicion.
Case is similar. If the subject of the inquiry is dead, if the investigations about sexual assault with a minor, sexual activity with a minor, if the testimony was previously disclosed by a court order, and if the state attorney is notified. And so this is going to affect perhaps more than just this case, but a relatively small number of cases. And so we're happy in Florida to be leading the effort for transparency and for accountability, because what happened was clearly wrong, and the punishment was simply wholly inadequate to the crime. And I know people have seen that for many, many years now. I'm going to sign HB 117. It will allow the disclosure of grand jury testimony in this Jeffrey Epstein case, and if there were cases similar, if the subject of the inquiry is dead, if the investigations about sexual assault with a minor, sexual activity with a minor, if the testimony was previously disclosed by a court order, and if the state attorney is notified. And so this is going to affect perhaps more than just this case, but a relatively small number of cases. And so we're happy in Florida to be leading the effort for transparency and for accountability, because what happened was clearly wrong, and the punishment was simply wholly inadequate to the crime. And I know people have seen that for many, many years now. But it's
All right.
signed.
Hey, Claiborne. All right, I just got to prove
So-
to bring somebody back. So let's see here.
That happened today. Looks like interesting new possible development.
This one started.
Will there be anything in said files? Well, that's difficult to know. Yeah, I think James came in a little too hot. But what will be in these potentially new Epstein files? I don't know. I don't really care about, this sounds, I don't know how to word this, but I don't really care about all these. I want to see the list. I want to see who was on that plane. I want to see who was on the island. I want to see who was raping children. Anything less than that is just a distraction. So I don't know. Now, in this particular case, remember, he was tried in Florida. So, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible we could see some stuff. Or maybe it will inspire more people. It will inspire more people to, speak up. Do. Yeah, I want to know where Epstein's recordings are, right? I want to know who was bought and paid for to make these convictions go away. Dooby dooby doo boo doo. Trying to baby bird this title on my video, and it's just not working. It's not working. I can't believe this video. The views on both platforms have been kind of wonky this week. All right. First time on Rumble. Do you do this Monday through Friday? I do. Monday through Friday at 1 Eastern. So I hope if you enjoy the show that you'll click that follow button. Now, I don't know exactly how long it's been. I gotta be honest. If I feel like months, maybe months, that Mark Cuban has been going through what I can only describe as a slow motion mental breakdown, trying to defend diversity, equity, and inclusion with facts and logic when there is none that supports the policy. The policy is, of course, ideologically driven, emotionally driven, not data driven. And when you're arguing with people who bring facts and logic, it can probably be maddening. It can probably be enraging for you when Mark Cuban probably thinks of himself as the smartest guy in the room at all times. He probably just mentally kind of shuts down. And in a recent podcast appearance, I don't know exactly when this was filmed, but it was released just yesterday, it looks like. Mark Cuban has an embarrassing meltdown about not being able to win arguments on X. We're going to get into all that after a super quick word from this video sponsor, Private Internet Access, which you don't have to hear. Now, let's go to the clip. There's some kind of naughty words in this clip. I do apologize for it, but it's only 30 seconds. Normally I like to keep things PG, but just it's 30-second clip.
X is just such a cesspool now, right?
So calling X a cesspool with two guys desperate to get money from Mark Cuban.
Shit show. It's a shithole, right? You can't win no matter what.
I win all the time on Twitter. I mean, I think Mark Cuban is a guy that, he thinks he's probably, sometimes he probably is the smartest guy in the room, but he certainly doesn't like it when he's not.
Everything, like, less time. Elon fucked that shit up, right? Bad. He fucked that shit up. But
neither one of them can say why, right? What exactly did Elon do that was negative? Like, really? Like, what did he do? Now, there is a mainstream media perception narrative that Twitter's just so terrible. But the fact of the matter, I can say, what has Elon done to make Twitter worse? I mean, the bots are probably worse than they've ever been. Worse than they've ever been. I could say that confidently. And, the Twitter X paying for Twitter Premium, I don't think actually reduces the number of ads you see like was promised. I think for the $8 a month, he promised that you would get some fewer amount of ads. I don't believe that. That's not been my experience. I'm still getting ads like crazy. I think community notes has been, while good intentioned, has been kind of weaponized. But hiring Linda Yaccarino, I mean, at least I can make tangible, criticisms, not Mark Cuban, who's been very publicly getting dragged for the past several months, and two stooges trying to get his money.
But, Instagram's still chill, TikTok's still chill, and there's other places, right, that aren't so bad where you
Instagram, the problem with the site with all the peds on it,
can mess with people and have fun. But you just can't do it on Twitter.
This X conversation is important because, as the conversation around like real radical free speech continues to like carry on here, I mean, that's kind of what you have there.
X is just...
Notice how they cut it off and say, first of all, I don't know what that guy, I mean, again, he's wearing a Dallas Mavericks t-shirt. They've got this billionaire on their podcast. I don't think that they're in a position to probably push back. I don't think that free speech is a radical idea. And I also don't think, at least again, in my experience, that it has not been my experience that, you can just say whatever you want. That hasn't been my experience. People are still getting banned on Twitter. People's accounts are still getting locked down. People are still, there are many old banned accounts that have not been restored. I would honestly say that, there have been some good moves by Elon in terms of free speech. But, honestly, I don't really feel like you're allowed to say much more now than you used to. I still see people getting banned all the time, getting 12-hour account locks. This past week, I don't know if it was a glitch or not. Maybe people in the comments will know, but I saw hundreds of people tweeting about how their monetization was suspended. Now, I don't know if that was a glitch, or if they actually did, if they actually did get their monetization suspended or not. I don't know the answer to that, but I saw lots of people posting about that. It's weird, but, you can see where people reply, X is a place where no one worships you, but where people celebrate a good tweet. Mark can't stand that he has to compete in a level playing field, and the days of yes men on X stoking his ego because he's a billionaire are long gone. Yeah, I'd say that's probably true. That's probably true. I don't think that Elon has really changed Twitter fundamentally. You know, I guess he put a bigger emphasis on getting like bad photos off. But you know, again, Mark Cuban thinks Elon Musk's Grok chatbot is right-leaning, while Google's Gemini is left-leaning. Can big tech actually feel generative AI? Well, I don't actually think Grok. I haven't seen anybody. I don't know about you all, but I haven't seen anybody kind of pop out and say that Grok has any kind of political leanings.
The Telegraph.
Also, I'm probably just being like an out of touch person on this, but like,
there's no
I
you just
don't
do it
care
online.
about using Grok or Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever the various like tool. I don't spend
Literally,
any time
I had
using
two
them.
guys
I
over
think
here
when I
that
got
brought
access to
those
Grok,
guys.
I did, like,
All they do
one
is mixing
thing
it.
ever.
They don't do any
It's just a
production.
time waster.
So they have enough in-house guys.
You know, in terms of
the
Twitter,
guys that I hired,
I don't
finally
think
were
it
long
feels
here
any
long enough. They
different.
got hired in.
Yeah.
So those
It's
guys are
just that
here. The two guys that I
maybe
had
what's
here as
happening-
temps, they pulled
This
them
is
over to
actually,
Telegram.
it's just come to me now in this moment.
We don't do it here anymore.
Well, I
The
can.
reason that
well, I mean,
Mark Cuban
what I can do
probably
is I
feels
can
this
make sure
way
that your email's up to date, and then I'll
is
send you some
because
electronic forms.
Now people with blue check marks,
Well,
people can buy a
I'll
blue
let you,
check mark
you can
now.
update that when you do that. But,
That's why he speaks that way.
the biggest
That's
thing
why
is the
he
email
thinks
now, 'cause
that
that's
way.
that's your login.
A
now,
lot of
is
these
your
people,
email.
I mean, Mark Cuban said it.
What's your,
Jeremy
last
Boring,
four?
the owner or CEO or whatever of Daily Wire, said it. Dave Rubin said it. When suddenly us regular people could get blue check
Jacob.
marks, they all complained. And I'm talking left, right, and center. The blue check mark meant only other people who agreed with you were generally in your menchies. If you were a leftist, most people that had blue check marks were leftoids. So if you're pushing DEI, you're not seeing 50 other verified accounts dunking on you in general in the replies. So that for most of us
Monday through Thursday.
probably doesn't feel any different. Like I read all my replies. I don't filter,
They're
even though I
paying
have the
$1 an
check
hour,
mark. I
corporate
swear
attendance bonus
I'm
as well
being
every
totally honest. I don't think I have ever, when I'm like looking at my
So what's
replies,
your
ever
email, Jacob?
filtered by verified only.
475
So I never did before.
That's
I
your
don't
email?
now. So my experience hasn't changed at all. But what's happening to Mark Cuban is he's seeing the normies. He's seeing all the likes and retweets pile up on people dunking on him. And he can't stand it. By the way, Western Lensman points out Instagram is still chill. Wall Street Journal exclusive. Instagram MetaSteph on Instagram tool enabled exploitation of the young ones, but the company ignored it and pressed ahead anyway. I'm not casting any aspersions on Mark Cuban other than pointing out, Instagram is not quote unquote chill. The only thing he's really argued here is that he can't take the heat. When his ideas don't pass muster, he calls it a dump, an S-hole. It's like, I'm not exactly sure. You see, even the Hodgsons giving people bonuses because their skin color is racist. This ain't hard to understand unless your name's Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban this tweet was February 23rd. This is only last week. 4 months. 4 months. He's been trying to defend diversity, equity, and inclusion, and he cannot change anyone's mind. Is it possible?
Right.
Is it possible, if you're Mark Cuban, is it possible that you're wrong? Do you think he could possibly, maybe,
Michael,
possibly
how you
somehow
doing?
Consider the
This is a different
possibility
office.
that he's wrong? It seems awfully hard.
That's my
It
evening.
seems much more difficult than I ever thought it would be.
2-hour lunch.
And he's still seething
Do
away
evenings
about
over
it.
at another
You gotta
factory.
love to see it.
I'm not really
Somebody in the
recruiting
chat
there. That's
said,
just basically on
Gunnar says,
site.
I thought Jeremy stopped paying for Twitter. I stopped paying for
Checking in new
I
people.
stopped paying
mainly,
for
dealing with issues.
verified organizations, which is like $1,000 a month. Just checking in on AB InBev stock. Down nearly 4% today. Down 5% in the past 5 days.
Okay, what's going
That's
on
always
here?
nice to see. There was an infographic that was posted by, I believe, the New York Times that showed, in spite of Bud Light spending $200 million with the UFC, despite Bud Light spending untold millions with Shane Gillis. I don't know what that looks like. Despite the CEO of Anheuser-Busch flying out and hanging out with Kid Rock, despite having what to me was a clearly paid promotional segment to lead off the Joe Rogan Experience, despite buying 1 full minute of Super Bowl ads, which cost, I don't know what that is, $50 million or something like that. Sales have not improved for Bud Light. In January, sales for Bud Light stood at minus 30% year over year and had lost $100 billion. I mean, you can. What's wild is you say, you know, the year before, Bud Light sales are still on 30% from where they were last year at the same time. Furthermore, while Bud Light was the biggest loser, other brands under the Anheuser-Busch umbrella, including Budweiser, Michelob Light, Busch Light, and Corona, also declined. I think it was almost 15%.
Done everything. He's already done the
I want to
onboarding
open
stuff
that.
and
I actually
everything.
want to open that infographic because it wasn't just like, it wasn't just Bud Light that was down. It was all the way across.
Yeah, it's like you've got everything
All the way
completed.
across.
When would you be available to get started?
The company suffering massive losses.
No, this is the Vectrum
is it
Foods
possible?
second shift on Telegraph Road.
Like, is
it starts at 15
do
plus
they
a
think
dollar
they're
an
just gonna
hour
be able to
perfect
spend their
attendance
way out
bonus
of
that's
this?
paid weekly.
I guess I would suspect that they did. They probably did think, hey, I can spend my way out of this, even though, you know, we're losing hundreds of millions of dollars. We'll keep spending that money. We'll keep trying to. What they should have done is what they're doing now.
Okay, well,
is,
I've got a
good money
get together
after
a list
bad.
of people to send them. I told you that, so
Because they're
if you're
just
not
never
available,
going
you're not
to-
available. I got to keep moving.
I think the fact of the matter is people are not
All right.
going to come back to
All right,
Bud
just
Light.
let me know if you're still available. If that doesn't work out, though.
At this point now, and it's wild to say,
All right, I appreciate that.
Almost
I mean,
a full
like I
year.
said,
This happened in
I'm-
April, right?
I'm
This
calling
happened
people,
in April.
Like I said, I told you whenever they called, it's going to be like, hey, we need
Mulvaney-pocalypse.
JSF. So, all right. No, and I understand.
I don't know how many
I wouldn't
people
stop
in
looking
my
either.
chat were like hardcore Bud Light drinkers.
No,
and quit.
I completely
maybe
agree.
A few.
All right, bye.
But I think even if Bud Light came out now and apologized, I'm not sure how many people would go back. You know? I do think that, like, okay, so as a commentator, if I were
They ain't
covering it in a
apologize at this
standalone
point.
story or on my stream or whatever the case may be, I would say, hey, you have my blessing to. If Bud Light came out and said, hey, we fricked up, we're sorry, this is why we screwed up. You can already see we've already made changes in our advertising, but you know we never really showed you why we, and we never really showed you exactly why. We never really said why we were sorry. We just said sorry. Here's why we're sorry. You know, and oh, by the way, we didn't put Alyssa Heinerschneid on vacation. She was fired. and the
Corona's
other
next.
guy who's on vacation.
Corona is
he
the
was
Bud Light to
fired,
Mexicans.
and here's a coupon.
Moosehead to
Something
Canadians.
like that. Like, if they came out and did that, I would say, okay, people have my blessing to go back. Not that people ask for it, but anything short of that, I mean, and I honestly, if they wanted people to come back, they should have did that 8 months ago.
I don't agree with that, Denizen.
7 months ago, 6 months ago, 5 months ago. Now it's a year. People have been drinking Yingling for the last year, and they have no reason to switch back to Bud Light. They would have to really come out and apologize for some specific things that I don't think they're ready to do. And like I said, I don't exactly think they want to.
Hey, Cynthia, it's Norm with Impact Employment.
You know what I mean?
told you I would
I don't
call
think
you
they have
first
any
thing
interest
once
in
the
it.
second
I don't
shift
think. I
position
think they're
became
just like,
available,
well,
I'm
shit.
giving you a ring.
We lost all those
Just give me a
people.
call back. I have to continue calling
They were
people
giving
until we
away
get
the
a list.
beer for free this summer.
For a few new
You were able to
starts
get
for
like
second
what
shift
a
starting as soon as
$20
possible.
coupon or gift
Give me a call
card,
back. Thank you.
and for a 24 pack or something, and it basically being free. People still didn't take it. Now I want to talk about
shitty beer is down.
female
basically.
John Wick.
All shitty beers are down.
Les Sai. Less people are drinking in general, too. That is a fact. I think somewhere along the line, just like with Disney, a lot of these companies, they thought that Twitter was real life. You know what I mean? They thought, getting 100 retweets were gonna, or getting 500 likes on Twitter or something like that. That those were actually customers, but they aren't. Now, normally, when there is a female, strong, independent woman who don't need no man reboot or spin-off of a particular movie, I tend to immediately be pretty sure it's going to be woke trash. I'm trying to think of a single time in history in which there was a female reboot and or female spin-off that was just as good. Was Bridesmaids a spin-off to Hangover? If it was, then that would probably work, but I actually don't think it is. I don't know. I don't think there are any... I mean, obviously, everyone epically remembers the Ghostbusters 2016 disaster. I don't know. And, of course, John Wick, which... Look, I'll admit, I don't really care about anymore. I know that sounds like weird, but like I'm over, like I've always said, and I'll continue to say, the best John Wick, the order of John Wick movies from best to worst is the order in which they've come out. John Wick 1, awesome. John Wick 2, pretty good. John Wick 3, pretty mid. John Wick 4, extremely mid. Now it was a fine, John Wick 4 was a fine, if you want just non-stop action for 2 hours straight while you eat popcorn. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's no cringy politics in it. There's nothing to, immediately dislike. Plus, obviously, Keanu Reeves is well-liked by just about everybody. He's remained apolitical. He's, seems faithful to his wife, this, that, and the other thing.
His wife's dead.
But now there is a female-led John Wick spin-off, which until very recently I didn't even know also starred John Wick. I'm sorry, Keanu Reeves. Has now been hit by massive reshoots because the film's probably a hot mess. Probably just a hot mess. The John Wick franchise has been the most influential action franchise series in the last 10 years. I disagree with that. Fast and Furious probably has been pretty, okay, maybe influential. I mean, the Fast and Furious has like 12 movies, and they're still cranking out billion-dollar movies. But anyway, it's still very, very good. If you're going to watch John Wick film, you're going to get at least 2.5 hours of people, yes, that I agree with, of action. However, after the release of John Wick Chapter 4 last year, it seems like Lionsgate was moving away from Keanu Reeves and pivoting towards Ana de Armas in a spin-off entitled Ballerina that could spawn a new series. By the way, I have almost no interest whatsoever in watching a woman beat up men. Like, I have no interest in it at all. Like, I make a little bit of time for Black Widow, maybe Red Sonja, that kind of thing. But, like, I just can't suspend. I know. You watch a John Wick movie, and there's 10,000 rounds getting fired, and nobody can get a headshot. Literally nobody can. Nobody tries to get a headshot. I get it. I'm suspending that. People are 2 inches away from John Wick, and instead of, firing at, a wide open soft target, they choose to fire into his suit, which apparently can take thousands of rounds. I get it. There's always some level of, having to suspend reality. But when you have like a 110-pound girl punching guys through walls, I just can't do it. Does that maybe that makes me a sexist? I don't know. I just can't do it. Have a woman use her feminine wiles or wit to defeat a man, that's fine. Improvise, use tools, weapons, fine, also fine. But hand-to-hand combat, no chance. Anyway, last week, Lionsgate confirmed that the upcoming spin-off has been delayed for a full year due to the director wanting to add more action scenes. According to Deadline's report, the production will bring in series mastermind Chad Stahelski to work with the director Len Wiseman on new action scenes. The film being delayed a full year with just over 3 months before it was set to release raised major red flags about the project. Insiders question whether the film is undergoing massive reshoots to fix part of the film that is major and maybe disastrously broken. Over the last several years, we've seen titanic big-name projects such as Captain America, Brave New World, Daredevil, Born Again, and Thunderbolts. Ian McShane, one of the stars in John Wick, set to appear in the film, says the reshoots are being done as a move to, quote, protect the franchise. I don't know what that means. It's not reshoots, it's new scenes, McShane said in an appearance of BBC's The One. The new scenes to the Ballerina, which is a spin-off with Ana de Armas of John Wick franchise, it's like they've got to protect the franchise. So my guess is the movie sucked. Like, I'm assuming the movie sucked. And they were like, this is a bad movie. We can't put it out with the John Wick name on it. We have to redo the whole thing. That's what I don't know how else to like, how else would I interpret that? It just must be terrible. Plus, they're also milking the franchise completely. Like, they have that other series that was made allegedly without the team's approval called The Continental, where Ian McShane said, "Oh, it's not very good."
Sound up.
This means that movie sucked. It was about a year ago that we did the movie Ballerina. They've looked at it, and Chad's come in, the guy who directed all the John Wick movies, and they want to make it better. Keanu is in it as well. It takes place between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4. So why didn't you release it between those? So the film is so bad. Like, why would you release John Wick 4 then? Why wouldn't you have released Ballerina in between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4 so it actually fit into the timeline? That doesn't make any sense. This isn't the first time Chad has been called in to save a struggling film. If you remember, back in 2019, he joined Warner Brothers' Birds of Prey film to assist Kathy Yan with the action scenes in her film. That movie also tanked at the box office. I gotta tell you, I have no interest whatsoever in seeing this movie. None. I don't care if Keanu Reeves is even in it. That's just, I mean, John Wick Chapter 4 was the highest grossing film in the franchise, drawing $440 million, which isn't even that much, by the way, by modern standards. Versus a $100 million production budget. That is good. However, De Armas has yet to prove if she has any drawing power as an action star. I'll tell you, she doesn't. No woman does. No woman does. No woman has any draw anymore as an action star. You could have said Gal Gadot 5 years ago, and you would have been right. You could have said Scarlett Johansson 5 years ago, and you would have been right. But there is not a single woman in an action film that people are going to want to pay money to see. Perhaps I'm forgetting somebody. Perhaps I'm forgetting somebody. But the whole, 110-pound girl in high heels beating up guys thing, not interesting. I have no interest in paying to see that. Now, of course, she starred in the critically panned Ghosted film with Captain America's Chris Evans. The film was a $200 million actioner released by Apple TV that put her in the role of a spy. Never even heard of it. Hated by critics and audiences alike, it settled at a 27% score and 55% from each class respectively. I mean, I just don't... To me, unfortunately, we lost probably the most interesting character you could have had in the John Wick universe. He passed away, was it 2 years ago? Or was it just last year? Like, I would have watched a movie of his origin story and how he got to start working at the Continental, because we saw how he was pretty cool in those action scenes, I thought. I would have watched that perhaps, but, other than that, I don't really care about any of these other people anymore. I've seen 4 movies of them. Mila Jovovich, perhaps, during Resident Evil, but how many bad Resident Evil movies, by the way, do I have to pay to see? I've seen them all, and they all are pretty bad. Maybe the first 2 were okay. Everything... The problem with modern cinema is everything's trying to be a franchise. If John Wick was a standalone, they never made any sequels, it would go down as one of the best action movies ever made, period. It could still, but the more they release more John Wicks, the less I care about them. And now they're like, oh, you should care about, you should care about, what, this random chick now? Why? So they can hand the franchise off? I mean, it's so transparent. Now, there's a few, like, John Wick nerds out there that are balls deep in the lore. I want to see it. Okay, fine, sure. But you put this up and you turn off replies. I wonder why. Lamau, saying the movie's terrible. He knows that he is a franchise. LOL. It's not just Keanu. It's the entire team of creators. I mean, basically everyone's reading through it. Terrible film. And there's only so much you can do to fix it, by the way. There's only so much you can really do to fix it. I'm not interested in the female reboot of John Wick. Not even for free. Not even for free. Not even for $0.00 will I watch that movie. I mean, why? That's what I find myself asking that question more and more these days. Every time I see a new movie come out, in particular when it's like a remake or a reboot, you know? I just find myself saying, why does this exist? Why would I give a shit about this movie? I don't care. Where is this? I wanted to find the initial tweet. They're doing a Naked Gun reboot.
I haven't gone to the movies in forever, man.
They're doing a Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson. Why? Why? Tell me why you're remaking that movie. I don't want to see if I want to watch Naked Gun, you remake a movie because you can make it better. You don't remake a movie just to cash in on it. I saw The Crow. I saw The Crow. On what planet do I need to see The Crow, a worse version of The Crow? On literally what planet would I need to see a worse version of The Crow? And I could make the argument. You know, that there have been some good remakes. 310 to Yuma, I'll say, like, 310 to Yuma is a great remake.
Well, yeah, because the first one was in 1950 something.
You know, I think that was 310 to Yuma is a good remake. Outside of that, you know, there's very few.
I just think that's disrespectful to Brandon Lee. He did an excellent job in the movie, even though he died during it.
Yeah. The Crow remake with Leslie Jones. I mean, at this point, why not? Right? At this point, why not? True Grit was a pretty good remake. I'll give you that.
Once again, what, 1960 something?
Hollywood is completely out of ideas, and the ideas that they do have is essentially, let's take something that was awesome and make it worse in every conceivable way. Ghostbusters 2016, perhaps the pinnacle example of this. There have been innumerable remakes over the past couple of years that are all forgotten. Nobody really cares about remakes anymore, and in the eyes of, you know, in the shadow of them remaking Naked Gun with Liam Neeson, why? Remaking The Wonder Years, why? I mean, everything they have remade has been trash in my entire life. You could argue that 310 to Yuma remake was pretty good. There's a couple of exceptions where movies were remade later and they ended up pretty good, but in most cases they were extremely
Actually, it has all the
loyal to the
most
original.
of the original people in
They
it,
were
though.
not looking to quote unquote update something for the modern audience. When they say update something for a modern audience, they mean it's going to be terrible. Now, The Crow was definitely a movie that, you know, it was a, you know, it came out in 1994. It was kind of a bit of a, I don't remember because I was only like, what, 11 at that time. Like, I don't remember exactly what it was like to see it, if it was in the movie theaters or whatever. At the time, we rented it from a store called Video Plus. We rented it when I was kids and we watched it, and it was pretty awesome. I don't even think I really understood it completely at the time when I watched it. But of course, The Crow is beloved by many, which means Hollywood must have to remake it. Many people remember kind of the iconic, you know, the iconic look of The Crow. Brendan Lee, you know, lost his life on that set. There are many interesting conspiracies around that film, around that actor, what cost him his life. It was an interesting film. I don't know. My viewers have told me that it still holds up. I think I'd probably rewatch it, maybe. But a lot of movies in that era in the 90s did not hold up. But I don't think The Crow was like some massive cinematography, you know, cinema success. I could be wrong. I really, you know, if I look up, if it was even, I wonder if it was even, it made 94 million. 94 million total in 1994. That probably was pretty decent. Probably pretty decent for that era. And given the budget of that film was probably, you know, almost nothing. I suspect that the Crow budget was like 25 million or less, I would guess. So it was a little bit bigger. It had a $23 million budget. Boom, that was close. So 100 million on a $23 million budget. Very, very good. Obviously build a strong cult following. So Hollywood says, how in the hell do we make money from all these people that love this movie that already exists? We can't resell it to them. Well, we remake it. And we go from this, which I always thought was kind of weird. Who didn't Sting like just steal this look? Was it Sting? I remember like years later there was a wrestler that just literally stole this look. I didn't know if it was if he was supposed to be
To a priest.
If you were supposed to think it was his original thing, or if he was trying to like be the Crow. I don't know. I don't remember that exactly. I remember watching wrestling around that time. I can't even remember if it was Sting, but some wrestler dressed like this. Anyway, they have now relaunched it, and it looks ridiculous. It looks... This is the new Crow. This is the new Crow. And the internet is absolutely having a field day with it. You've got the Crow and FKA Twigs. I'm sorry, Bill Skarsgård. Now, by the way, nothing against Bill Skarsgård. To be fair, I think he does excellent as It, or Pennywise. He's in Barbarian, which was an excellent movie. Now he's in Eternals, which was a disaster. He was in Castle Rock. He was good in that. I don't have anything against. He's in Deadpool 2.
It's from Vikings, right?
Atomic Blonde. I don't have
Is that the guy
anything
from
against
Vikings?
Bill Skarsgård or his brother Alexander.
Oh no, his brother.
So this is a kind of a weird, like, Bill is in so much crap that it's kind of hard to, like, he's in so much junk that he's in a few occasionally good things, but like,
Hey, Pat.
this is not it.
All right,
They're just like,
Did
oh,
you get
let's
my
make the
message?
Crow look exactly like the Joker. And by the way, the worst version of the Joker.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah, they finally have a second shift spot opening back up over there.
I guess we could say, at least he's not a black
when do you think you could
lesbian.
Start back up.
I mean, now the
All
Crow.
right.
If you want to
I'll
get
let
into
them
the
know.
Crow lore, right?
Okay.
You can have different depictions of the crow, blah,
Too
blah,
bad.
blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know. Deep lore crow heads.
Right.
I hear you. Okay? I hear you. But this ain't it. Like, I gotta see some dude's dick root and pubes. Like, come on.
Dick root.
The guy looks like he could barely lift a wet roll of toilet paper. I don't care if he has abs. Granted, you know, Brendan Lee wasn't exactly super buff either. But what in the hell is this?
It is what it is.
Everybody on the internet's laughing at it. Everybody. Nobody is like, no, I mean, they have this thing where he's got a tattoo or one of the guy's eyes is a nipple. Like, everybody's like, what is this supposed to be? Hollywood, you had one job, not to make him look gay and lame, and this is how you do it.
Impact deployment.
I don't even like. Here you see this one. That's not the crow.
Yes.
Like, what in the hell? You had one job. You had
right
one
now
job.
we are
Even the
hiring
media
for,
hates it.
A facility called Beckstrom Foods.
Even the media hates it. Crow reboot director explains Bill Skarsgård's Joker-fied look.
Basically,
he's
doing
ripped.
the packaging
He doesn't look
portion
ripped to me.
of the different products. That
He's tattooed, and
they
even
do.
with the hair dye, it looks an awful lot like Jared Leto's incarnation of Joker.
Sorry, I had to move the phone.
Almost 30 years after The Crow hit theaters in 1994, a new version of the grim revenge tale is arriving.
Well, no, it's I mean,
starring Bill
you're not selling
Skarsgård.
anything.
Whatever
It's just basically
feelings
the product
one might
is
have
going
about
to
the
a machine,
remake,
which is
I don't
dropping
want it.
into the
The
different
first
boxes,
images of
making sure the boxes
Skarsgård's
are getting
in character are
sealed
certainly
properly and-
striking. According to Sanders, the
There's
character's
a bunch of
appearance is
different food
not
products,
drawn
so
from the
mostly
James O'Barr source
powder-based,
material in the comic book
like
series,
flours, mixes,
nor
and
the
stuff like
tragic
that, but,
star
you're not doing
Brendan
mixing,
Lee's
you're just
take on the
basically
character
the end portion of it.
on the original film. Instead, the director considered his star's natural assets and gazed
It's
into
a
his
10-hour
own
shift,
past.
actually. That's 4 10s.
I think the beauty of Bill is that he has a disturbing beauty. And as he transforms through his loss, he becomes the thing that he can't control. It looks ridiculous.
It's actually 45 minutes because they combine
get
your
it
lunch
that, like,
with your last 15
I
minute
get
break,
it.
so it's a little bit longer break, second break.
I get it that you know, it's just the spirit, and you can have
Oh,
your
you'd have to
looks
run home
and
and let out? Okay.
like.
All right, and the facility's over
fact
on
of the matter is
Telegraph,
you're
but the office here,
capitalizing
I have
off
an
of
office in their mixed
people-
plant over on
people's visions of the Crow and what they loved about the Crow. There's absolutely no
here.
shame in making him look cool.
Sorry, someone's trying to talk to me at the same time. I'm just throwing them the hold on
There's
finger
absolutely
here.
no shame in putting a wig
well,
on Bill Skarsgård,
the first
so he
shift
doesn't
base
look like
is
he's
14.
got a receding
the second
hairline
shift
and a mullet.
is $1 differential,
Like,
so that's 15.
I don't even
and then there's
understand
$1
what
an
in the
hour,
hell you were
perfect
thinking.
attendance bonus that's paid every week, so it resets every
And you
week.
see,
So if you have an
they've
issue
gone
that
and
week,
Joker-fied the Crow, Bill Skarsgård, his mullet, and a flurry of stick and poke tattoos bring Gen Z
that's where we have most
edge
of the openings
to the
right now.
Gen X superhero. This is Gen Z edge? He looks like a
Would you be able to
douche.
come in Monday? Yeah, Monday at 1
Gen
p.m.
Z
for,
edge?
an interview. It's
At
from
this
3:30
point,
p.m. to
the
2
original Crow is more known for its
Alright.
makeup and
Alright,
tragedy.
is it
than
okay if I
story,
send you some
though it
instructions
did
to just take
unleash-
care of some of
it
this stuff
unleashed a
online, and then
slew
you
of
can just text me back
direct-to-DVD
at this number,
sequels
let me know when you got it
and
done?
gave an all-time great pro
Alright, we'll
wrestler
do that.
killer gimmick. It's hard to imagine anyone being particularly precious about this character. He's a cult favorite, and the low-key
Impact
status
deployment,
in
notice-
superhero landscape probably gave producers some wiggle room to do things a little differently in the remake. However,
Yes.
it really seems like Bill Skarsgård's makeup is a little too indebted to Jared Leto's Joker.
I just had a couple of openings for a second
That's not
shift.
just it
It's a
looks
10-hour
terrible.
shift, so
It's
4
hard to
days a
tell
week,
this how this will
here-
plan
here in Monroe.
Dude, just look it up on Twitter. What do you mean? You think it's
Okay.
hard to tell?
Would
Look
you,
at what people are
have you
saying
worked with
about
us
this
before?
on Twitter.
Okay.
Everybody's
what I'm gonna,
laughing.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot you a link.
Now,
I just want you to take
okay.
just do a quick the
Perhaps
application online, and
you
then
could
you can
make
just text
the
number
argument
back here.
that
and we will
They
go
think-
from there.
I mean, heel versus
would you be
baby face,
available
right?
maybe
The
Monday
Crow's
at
a
1 p.m.
fuckboy?
to do an interview?
I mean, like, what?
Well,
in
yeah, the main
hell?
office is on Front Street. I have an office here in their mix
Brandon
plant.
Lee died
The
and they
main
decided
facility
his
where the
final
is
work
gonna
needed to be
done is over in
updated for a
Telegraph.
modern audience. Pass, put a chick in it, make her
Just that
lame
far
and
away.
gay, bad version of the Joker. Where are the people that
Okay.
are like? What do you mean it's not? It's
Okay,
not
well, I'll
hard
shoot you. Like I
to-
said, I'll shoot you a message with the link.
It's
to
really
get
not
the
hard to
process started,
figure
and
out
we'll go
how
from
people
there,
will
okay?
react when you could just go look.
Well, actually, I'm going to text it to you.
They turned
With
him
this
into
number.
a chromosexual.
Once it's done, just text
Anyone
this
will
number
probably
back.
be surprised.
Let me know it's done.
Some
and
people remember the
then we'll do some
90s
onboarding
and some
stuff.
it don't, it seems.
What we have to do in
Terrible.
person only
Oh,
takes
no.
about an hour, hour and a half.
I mean, where little Twink Boy, nobody. This is not the Crow.
I mean,
there's
how long ago
nobody-
was it?
You know, I was all for this reboot. If they were trying to make it
What's it-
bring
what was it
closer to the
for?
graphic novel, which here we have a Crow head here. Okay.
Okay.
Then the incredible Brendan Lee version.
It wasn't,
That does not
sexual
also
crime
appear
or
to be the
anything?
direction. Sanders also took inspiration from
No,
modern day
that's
artists
interesting.
to give Draven an updated appearance, revealing that he blended his own look from the 90s with stylistic influences like Post Malone and Lil
Okay.
Peep.
All right. We'll go from there. Then I'll shoot you that link.
Relatable
Once it's
character.
done, I'll
One that
text back and
hopes
forth with
people
you, and
who
we'll
are
get through the process. We
19
might be able to
today
meet up on Monday.
look at him and
have
go,
you going maybe the
that
next day or
guy is us.
possible. Okay.
So they don't want your money. He's not trying to appeal.
Yeah. Who's your PO?
They're not trying to appeal. They tell you, he's telling you right out front.
Okay. All right. I'll work with.
I don't
I'll-
want
I'll-
your
I'll
money.
do it.
I'm not trying to appeal to the original audience. I'm better than the original audience. I can do my own thing, and I will do my
All right.
own thing,
Like
and
I
you
said,
will
I'll shoot that
consume
over
it.
to you, and we'll go from there. All right. How about?
That's essentially what's happening here, right? Like, you will consume this product. It's for you. Gen Z. He says he wants Gen Z people. Well, okay, good luck. Nobody who watched The Crow, and it sucks because I don't have anything against Bill Skarsgård. Let's see how the 19-year-olds TikTokers embrace this. But for me, this is a hard no. You know, talk about put a chick in it and make her gay and lame. I mean, it doesn't get any gayer and lamer than this. And again, nothing wrong with Bill Skarsgård. Fine. But these pictures are ridiculous. A couple of shout-outs. Pac-Man says, the judge more than likely has child images on his computer. Mark Cuban looks like the kind of guy to date freshmen when he was a senior. That's actually a rare insult, but true. Mimic Live says, John Wick franchise has taught me that the vast majority of New York citizens are assassins. Yeah, not even close. Like, they're all assassins, basically. And shout out to your boy, King of Biltong. Good afternoon from Anton's in Roanoke, Texas. Free shipping with your Biltong using code THEQ, one word, on Biltong USA and AntonUSA.com. Thanks to Brian for visiting us in store. Denton store launching soon. Good. I'm glad to see you're successful, bud. I eat Biltong every day until I run out, and then I'm a sad panda. But then Anton sends me more, and I am a happy panda. Reminder.
Have 62 parts of speech 6. Zem, Sears, Zem self. Chris. What are pronouns? Those are pronouns.
Dang.
Neo pronouns. You have 62.
You want to play that?
Do you think that, so I know my audience kind of varies in age. It skews a little bit older. I'm sure there are, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds that watch, but it is a much smaller percentage than, say, 35 to 65. I find myself skewing younger than actually the larger majority of my viewers. I just turned 40 this year. I turned 40 last year. Jesus, I'll be 41 in 2 months. Oh, no, I have to buy a Corvette or something. Is this what happens? Is this just what if you're like in your 50s or 60s now, is that just what happens? Like, at some point in your life, the media and like entertainment industry just says, we don't give a shit about you anymore, we don't want you. That's how it feels, right? It's like, you know, there's a new movie out. We want 19-year-olds. Like, oh. Okay.
Okay.
Shout out, Carla. But is that what it is? Like, am I just like, I'm finally understanding that like these people just don't want my money and they don't want people my age's money? Why in the hell would you remake The Crow, which is a movie that is, or let's look at Naked Gun too, right? Naked Gun and The Crow were both popular around the same time. I think Naked Gun a little bit before, right? When did the Naked Gun release? No, I don't want the remake. 1988. Yeah, Naked Gun was 1988. So, and then you had The Crow in 1994. If you were a legitimate fan of those films, your age is probably between 38 and 60. It's honestly probably between 45 and 55. 45 to 60, 45 and 55. That means you had that means you could have saw it in the theater when it came out. Like when The Crow came out, I was 11. I couldn't see that movie in the theater. I think it was rated R too. You know, Naked Gun came out when I was 5. So like, yes, I could have watched it and enjoyed it when I was 13, 14, 15, but the movie had already been out for 10 years by then.
So last year, I like Oppenheimer.
It's like Hollywood just doesn't give a shit about you once you're over 35 years old anymore, apparently. You know, women get a big fat Greek wedding every 5 years, and men get another mindless action remake every couple of years, and that's about it. Yeah, I think most everyone that I knew, like, got into Naked Gun when the sequel came out. I'm not saying you could be in your 30s. I'm just saying that I'm not saying you can't be 30 or even in your 20s and like Naked Gun or The Crow. I just mean the height of their popularity would have happened before you were at prime age. In general. So like Roadhouse, right? Roadhouse comes out. It's a smash hit. Now they're remaking it, but it looks, actually the remake looks actually okay. Of course it's, you know, cast for a modern audience. Like the big boss is a black female now and it's all diverse, but it doesn't look like that terrible. And, but I wouldn't pay to see it. So it's constantly confusing to me that they would remake a movie and not give a shit about the original audience. Isn't that weird? It just seems so weird to me. Yeah, old guys get another Expendables every 5 years. Women get My Big Fat Greek Wedding every 5 years. And everything else is for 19-year-olds. You know? I just don't get it. Why even, like, don't these people want to make money? It's got to be that they don't know how to write anything. They don't know how to create anything new. I don't know. I just watch the originals. I watch the classics now. I don't even bother. Yeah, Sonic, the Sonic movie was, you know, even with the perfect example of the Sonic movie. Sonic was a perfect example. They tried to redesign Sonic The fans were like, gross, no, we're out, not interested. And as a result, they went and spent another, I don't know what it was, $50 million, $30 million retooling it. And it was a great success. And it was so successful that they got a sequel out of it. But companies like Disney and all these, you know, where they just own like the license, right? They own the license, and so they just want to keep pooping out these movies
my
that are
earbuds
just,
are dead.
I mean, they're garbage.
Let me fix something here. I can probably turn that off.
Zero interest. And then they whine and complain. It's like, how stupid can they be? Oh my God, nobody came to see the Marvels. It must be because sexism. Like, what? No.
Is that better?
Oh, you wanna like sexually ambiguous young guy to remake Willy Wonka? Nobody wanted another Willy Wonka. Now, by the way, when Johnny Depp remade Willy Wonka, I felt the same way about it. I was like, oh, that's stupid. We don't need another Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka's perfect. But I actually like Johnny Depp's version. But you know what? Shockingly, guess what? It's faithful to the original. It was faithful, and it didn't put out press saying that, you know, if you don't pay to see it, you're a piece of garbage. It's the unknown. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God. That's my all-time favorite video clip, I think. It was Tim Burton still. Yeah. Now, there was an interesting interview yesterday between Patrick Bet-David and Gina Carano that I thought was pretty interesting. That was pretty interesting. Things continue to go downhill and fast for Disney. Their stock, as it stands right now, Disney was never worth more than in February 2021. Post-Coof, Disney Plus boom. Let me repeat. In February 2021, Disney was worth the most it ever was in history. In February 2021. Do you know also what happened in February 2021? Probably saw the thumbnail. You're probably making a pretty good guess. Gina Carano was fired. Gina Carano was fired in the month in which Disney was worth the most it was ever worth in history. Their market cap that day was $341 billion. Disney's market cap right now is $203 billion. It has lost $138 billion in value since firing Gina Carano. Now, of course, is it, you know, all related? Of course not. But the firing of Gina Carano was indicative of a direction that the company wanted to go. It was indicative of the new era of Disney where they were making so much money, they got to, with impunity, simply say, propaganda over profit. Look how much money we're worth, propaganda over profit. They lost $140 billion, had to bring back their old CEO, Bob Iger. By the way, Bob Chapek was the CEO when they fired Gina Carano. If you had invested in Disney 5 years ago, your return on
Only
investment
Monday
would
through
be
Thursday,
minus
and they have
5%.
overtime. And that's
Okay.
Through Friday as well, and that's
If you had invested in
Oh.
Disney 3 years ago, your investment would be at minus 41%.
you could start. Well, if you did everything and you
So
were
your $1
ready,
million investment would be worth $690,000.
if you had boots,
my math
stuff like
is
that, and you go right from
590,000. Sorry,
all you're going to do,
590,000.
as long as you have all the tests that I'm going to send you done.
That's wild.
And then you do the little food safety test that you do here. You can go right there.
And now they've come out and they're, they sent a letter to their viewers.
Pretty
I'm sorry,
much.
their
I mean,
stockholders,
there's spots on the line,
begging
but- and then if you
them
show eagerness, they
to
generally move-
not
move
allow
up
these other two individuals
quickly.
under their board of directors. But if you had invested in Disney 3 years ago, your investment would be worth roughly half today.
Okay.
Don't you think you'd be pretty pissed off?
Okay. How about?
You'd probably be pretty mad. Now, to try and calm down their investors, they increase the dividend, which is kind of like a short-term bribe. They're like, here's some money. And also, please don't screw up our board of directors. Here's some money. We're also going to buy back shares off the market to try and artificially increase the value of the stock by reducing supply. And we're going to cut $7.5 billion in costs. That's what they told their stock investors yesterday. Okay, cool. Very cool. Cool. That does not sound like a company headed in the right direction. Oh, and by the way, 2 days before that, they fired the president of their president of movies, the person in charge of all the Disney remakes. Does that sound like Disney's heading in the right direction? So Patrick McDavid, right? Disney fired Gina Carano the week of February 8th, 2021. Market cap of Disney that day was $341 billion. Disney's market cap today, $203 billion, a loss of $138 billion. This is a byproduct of Disney forgetting who their number one customers are, and that's parents. Gina Carano also revealed some interesting things in this interview. One, that Disney had cut off all communication to her as of that previous December, and that they had, in fact, greenlit before a single tweet. Before that tweet she put out that got her fired, Dave Filoni called her and told her that Disney had greenlit her own spinoff called Rangers of the New Republic. So things were going so good at Disney that they greenlit Rangers of the New Republic, in which that would star, Gina Carano in her own show. Canceled that, fired her over a tweet, subsequently lost $138 billion, or, almost 50% of their net worth. On top of that, here's an article from this summer. Disney theme parks are dealing with shockingly lackluster summer crowds amid high ticket prices, woke battles with DeSantis. Here's why the stock might be too cheap to pass up. Yeah, the company's tanking, but buy the stock. Does that make sense to you? If you look at how Disney's top executives donate their money, by the way, I don't understand donating to politicians at all. I will never understand that.
Nope.
If you do it, then, I'm not judging you for it. It's just something I don't understand. I already give politicians my money unwillingly, and it's called taxation. If you look at the amount of contributions by party in 2020, Disney executives donated $7.64 million to Democrats. while donating 1.4 million to Republicans. Then you go to 2022, you look at the midterms, it's even bigger stark contrast. Disney executives donate 2.79 million, call it 3 million to Democrats, and a paltry 200K. That's 15 times as much to Democrats. If you actually look, there was a time when it was pretty close. One presidential election cycle in 2000, it's kind of close. Democrats 1.2 million. It was only 2-1 in 2000. Look what happened. It was 2-1 in 2000. It was about even in 2002. Then it began. And the gap got wider. And look at all the money. Look at all the money. Look at all the money that Disney executives were donating to Democrats in 2020, 2022, and so far in 2024. I mean, if you look at it as a percentage in 2024, it is 89% of their donations have been to Democrats. In 2022, 93.11% of all donations went to Democrats.
It is pretty decent today.
85% in the 2020 presidential election, 91% in the 2018 midterms, 77% in 2016 election. I wonder if they donated some to Bernie. I mean, it's not even close. So, I mean, what's interesting to me is that, you know, this is a company that has gotten here's a bigger takeaway too. Look at how much money, how the money has increased since 2016, political donations. Right? I mean, if you go back to 1990, it was 400K combined. 1994 presidential election. A presidential election year, right? Or is it 92? 2016, 2012, 2008, 2004, 2000. Here, just look at the, and then you'll go 1996. Okay. Presidential election year, they donated a total of $2 million in 96 and just under $2 million in 2000. In 2020, they donated $10 million in total. 11.14 million. It's so insane. So to think that Disney isn't serving some kind of master here is wild. Of course they're working hand in hand. Of course they're working hand in hand. Of course. It's wild. Hey, I'm fine with them going circling the drain. 100% fine with it. 100% fine with it. 100% fine with it. Yeah, it's the whole thing is just bizarre to me that this amount of money is flowing out of entertainment companies into one particular side of the political aisle. And people are like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean a former, former CIA agent runs Bud Light? What do you mean there's a dozen CIA and FBI agents that work in top-level positions of Facebook? What do you mean? Very, very odd. By the way, if you're tuning in today and you're enjoying the show, I thank you for being here. If you haven't yet, there's a little green follow button down below the video. If you are enjoying the show and you haven't yet, please do click that follow button. If you want to support the channel, which I would greatly appreciate, you could click the basement and join the basement, where we have members only chat during live streams and members only content up there. It's $5 a month, not required, but it does go miles to supporting the channel. You'd also check out my coffee company, coffeebrandcoffee.com. We roast our own stuff. We fulfill our own orders. We're not some crappy dropship organization like some of my competition. We've got 3,100 plus 5-star reviews. We've got coffee. We've got K-Cups, whole bean, ground. Promo code 15OFF, 150FF. We'll save you 15% off your first order. We've got decaf. We've got double calf, dark roast. We've got our brand new ultra dark roast on here. We've got blueberry cobbler, which is our #1 seller. Our Roaster's Choice program is 50% off the first month. This is my coffee club, where it's from a different exotic location every month. Literally no one leaves this program once they sign in, because it's that good. And it's getting better in March even. And the first month is 50% off there. Or if you're in the market for a new computer, all these links are in the description too. Use promo code TheQuartering over at Meta PCs. This is my new computer. It's in the mail right now. It actually comes here on Monday. Should be pretty cool. Looking forward to that. So if you're in the market for a computer, coffee, both are linked in the description below. Really thankful to have a nice big crowd today. I wanted to check and see.
Actually,
if there was anything else I missed today. So my sister hit a deer last night. She's fine.
It's fun.
But she needs to borrow my car. I need to drop it off at her work.
The woman I was dating, her...
Oh, Lauren Bolbert's son made a sex tape with one of 3 accomplices who helped him break into cars and steal credit cards. Oh, boy. Bolbert's son's got some problems. Probably because his mom's got those... No, I'm not going down there. Joe Biden finally heading to the border. Finally.
Yeah, election season. Time to pretend like you care.
How was the deer? What do you mean? Hey Jeremy, I need you to do a generic. I need you to do a generic commercial for CBC so I can edit it into my videos. I suck at ad reads. Well, you want me to sell it for you? He's probably just gonna. Well, you know they cleared out all the migrants. Wherever Joe Biden is going is not where the migrants are. That's just a fact. Bolbert's turning into Palin 2.0. Yeah, that's kind of true, actually. Just, oh, how was the deer? I don't know. My sister hit it. I don't know if the... Now I get what you're asking. I don't know. I don't know if the deer was... if the deer survived. Her car is pretty messed up, so... I don't know. It's generally, I'm actually not sure what the actual protocol is if you hit a deer. Like, Can you take it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you could take it. I think, depending on how rural of an area you are, they probably don't care, but there's probably something to it. They probably don't really let you. They probably don't really let you take that kind of stuff. Yeah, usually they don't die right where you hit them either, unless it's a subway, or unless it's a subway, like a semi truck or something.
Impact employment norms.
Grew up in Oak Park. Shout out.
Okay.
Yeah, the regulations. I'm not sure what the rule is in Wisconsin. Hold on.
The best way to get us started is for me to just text you the link for our website. You do the initial portion of it. You just text me back.
Yes, you can.
Know your full name, because that way
anyone can claim it technically, but the person who hit it gets first dibs. That's the rule in my state.
There. So I'll just send it.
Usually, these things aren't dying when you hit them.
And
deer are extremely hardy. Like I've seen a deer get hit by a dump truck and keep running.
All right.
So
hope to hear from you soon.
It's interesting. It'll be. I think it probably varies. They usually die right away in the subway. That's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Roadkill Cafe. Remember those t-shirts? I had a Roadkill Cafe shirt, and I had a No Fear shirt.
No Fear.
I wonder if I could show you the picture. No, no, I really can't. The license plate's still on there. I would say it's pretty good direct hit right in the front. But the car's definitely not totaled. I would say that. Definitely not totaled.
Anything's totaled anymore.
Have you ever seen those deer hits where it looks like it exploded off the road? Yeah, those are usually an 18-wheeler. Usually 18-wheeler, they don't even slow down. They're not even told to slow down. Like, it's not safe for them to slam on the brakes. Chippy Pig says, new to this live, my brother-in-law hit one, and a year later, my sister hit one in the same place. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, if you're new, make sure you give it a follow. We will be, I bet Jeremy wore Big Dog shirts. No, I didn't. Big Dog shirts were, like, big and tall, right? Big and tall t-shirts. Generally, all like the bigger kids wore them, like the fat kids. Maybe not. That might not be true. Maybe just there was one kind of really fat kid at school that also happened to wear Big Dog shirts. I don't remember. With the cost of repairs, it takes a little damage to be totaled. Oh yeah, for sure. But I can look at that. I'm pretty sure. We hit a lot of deer here in Wisconsin. That car's not getting totaled. Yeah. Jeremy, did you check out the massive black company scandal involving ninjas? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I can't even pronounce that name. Yeah, you're a trucker. Never veer for deer. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Okay, well, I've got to go drop off. My sister's going to borrow my car, so I'm going to go drop that off. Tomorrow, no guest tomorrow, but I'm going to try to get one anyway. Ninja Sani. Ninja Sanji. Jeremy, your rating of Breakfast Club movie. 6.5, 7.25. Yeah, I'll see you all back tomorrow in 22 hours. Bet on a sister hitting the mailbox. Yeah. Yeah. I'll see you all tomorrow, though. We'll have a fun Friday show. I've got a fun Friday show planned.
Going. We are at exactly 600 likes. Thank you, chat. You guys rock. You got me there. Love you all. Let's figure out what else we're going to learn about Alec Baldwin and what he did wrong with financing, because somehow that shows Hannah was negligent. This witness is purely here for Alec Baldwin.
I can remember. Did you, in fact, you said you were made aware of it. You actually heard it go off, didn't you?
That's how I was aware. I was aware.
Yeah, that's right. The Karen Reed was
accidental
pushed back a month or
discharge,
so.
On set, that you actually heard.
Like 2 days
Did
ago.
you direct
it was
any
pushed
safety
back.
meetings about that?
No.
Okay.
This trial is supposed to wrap up sometime around the 6th or the 8th. So
Do you
Wednesday or
believe that's not
Friday
your
of next
responsibility,
week.
to direct safety meetings? Or to tell your people that you need to do safety meetings? I heard this accidental discharge.
My understanding is that the AD department is the safety officers.
Okay, AD. Is that David Halls also?
Dave Halls it would be the AD, yes.
Okay, but AD worked for production, right?
Yes.
And you're a producer, right?
Yes.
And Alec Baldwin is a producer, right?
Yes.
In fact, Alec Baldwin was not only the producer, he was also the star of the film, wasn't he?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that he would have significant influence over things that happened on that film?
I would say as an actor, yes.
And as a producer, right?
But like I say, it depends on the context.
Okay, and as an investor that benefits from those tax shelters?
I'm confused. I'm confused by that question.
Okay, I'll withdraw the question.
She's not very good at asking questions. I know I just said that, but she's not. A couple days ago, she wasn't very good at asking questions. She wasn't very good at asking questions here. I think it's just for familiarity with the case
Redirect.
at this point. She's not been there long enough to be overly familiar with the case.
The defense counsel just asking you about whether one of the complaints from the camera crew was accidental discharges on the set. I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Do you recall the defense counsel who was just standing up here asking you questions about whether one of the camera crew's complaints was regarding accidental discharges on set?
Yeah, come on up.
This guy's like, dude, I just gave money for a tax break. For a tax shelter that I don't know what it is. But that's why I just gave money. Don't ask me all these questions. I don't know. That's sort of him.
You were aware of at least one accidental discharge on set, correct?
Yes.
And who would you expect to be in charge, the person responsible for ensuring that there are no accidental discharges on set?
My assumption would be that it would be.
Overruled.
I would say it would be both the AD department overseeing safety, and also be obviously the role of the armor.
Okay, thank you.
All right, excuse, thank you. All right, we're gonna take our lunch break.
Oh.
Please be back downstairs at 1 o'clock. Please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's it, folks. That's all she wrote for today. We are now in the lunch break. The lunch break should just be wrapping up in about 10 minutes, but that's what we do here. We do a delayed and sped up deal. So if you don't want to spend your entire day watching it at normal slow speed, we do it. So we watch afternoon of the previous day and the morning of the current day. And now we're up to lunchtime. So what's going to happen from here on out for the next few days until Monday? Got a several special circumstances that I'm dealing with. It's Thursday night here. Well, now it's Friday morning. It's 5 a.m. on Friday morning here in Korea, where I'm at. We have Friday's a holiday. Today is a holiday, so it's a 3-day weekend. 12 hours from now, I'm going to be on a plane to China for 3 days. I'm going to spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in China. So we will not watch Friday session tomorrow. We'll do that on Sunday morning. But I'm basically ready and packed. I just have to get the house ready for a few days, get the person that's going to be taking care of the dogs over here to, show them the ropes for taking care of the dogs, do some laundry. If I have time, we will watch the afternoon session of today in the evening U.S. time. So we'll watch it a few hours from now, if I have time. So stay tuned, check Twitter, check my feed. make sure you're subscribed and the notifications are on. Make sure the notifications are on, because if we do watch the afternoon session a few hours from now, it'll be a very last minute impromptu thing. What holiday is it here? It's the Independence Movement Day. This March 1st is where it was, is one of the it's one of the movements for independence from Japan started. Yep, JKD Book just got us here. It is Independence Movement Day. So that's it's sort of like the, hey, let's have a July 4th. It was like they're planning for the Independence Day. So it's the Independence Movement Day. It's the day the movement started. So again, I'm guessing if we do this, it'll be probably 5 or 6 hours from now. We might watch the afternoon session. If we don't, we'll do it on Sunday. Either way, we'll do Fridays on Sunday morning, US time. And then we'll be back on the regular schedule Monday. That's it, people. That was a wild day. That was weird. I think Hannah is screwed. After today, I think she's 100% screwed. Those videos were damning. That's what's going to be in the jurors' minds, not the deflecting that the defense tried to do. All the deflection in the world isn't going to erase what they saw. And the fact that Hannah said she was in charge of all that shit and it was her job to stop it from happening. Right. That's it. Thank you, mods, for being here. Thank you for doing this. Chat, you are and always will be the greatest chat on the entire internet. The Vice Squad rocks. And thank you so much. We did a thing that I forgot to do, and I owe you this, and this is going to hurt my soul. We did get to the we got to the $200 mark. So the very last thing I'm going to be doing is we have the $200 what I call punishment reward. It's my punishment, your reward. We have this bottle of soju here. This is Korean soju. It's sort of, if you don't know what soju is, it's like sake, but Korea. It's the Korean rice wine thing. It's, why is it focus? Don't focus on me. I know I'm handsome. But come on, camera. It doesn't like the blue bottle. What if we put it there? Slowly. Anyway, that's as good as it's gonna get. This is soju. This isn't your average real Korean soju, rice wine soju. This is mint chocolate flavored soju. It's blue. It's mint chocolate, and I thought it was just like the bottle was blue until I poured it in the shot glass the other day, and it's just blue. This was really, really bad. So I said $200 gets a double shot of mint chocolate flavored soju. It's blue. Ye gods. Thanks for the $200. Thanks. It does. See, Bush. It does look like Listerine, and it tastes like Listerine. Like, imagine if you had like Listerine mouthwash. Like, kind of watered it down a little bit, like watered down Listerine mouthwash. And you do a quick shot of Listerine mouthwash, and then you stick like a spoonful of chocolate mousse ice cream into your mouth immediately thereafter. It ain't good. 3, 2, 1. See, it's worse because I know what it tastes like this time around. Thanks for the support. Thank God we didn't get to the $300. Whew. Oh, thank you, chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support. We'll just put that away and don't have. Oh, see, now it's hitting the stomach. Ugh. It was just kind of there. Now it's like in the stomach and it's going, all right, what do we do now? Thank you again, mods. We gotta that's really bad. I'm forwarding us. We're probably gonna go over. Let's see, where should we send you, everybody? I'm getting you somewhere where you can forward you to. We're gonna send you somewhere. Not sure exactly where we're gonna send you here yet. I need to stop clicking on the wrong buttons. There we go. YouTube Studio. Oh. Content. Live. Here we are live. Oh, that is so bad. Customization, redirect. And in our redirect, we have Danny on direct doing day 6. We sent you to Branca last time. Let's send you to Danny this time around. Tell Danny hi. Danny on direct. We're going to go over there. Say Legal Vices sent you. Like her video. Subscribe to her. Tell her how awesome she is. She'll appreciate that.
Sorry, guys. Oh,
Chat, thank you for the support. Chat, thank you even just for being here and talking to each other, keeping me entertained, keeping each other entertained. Thank you for being respectful to each other. Disagreement is awesome, and thank you for just keeping it awesome. I know I've said awesome because you are awesome. Let's go. Legal Vices saying, whoever you are, whatever you do, whoever you do it with, however good it feels, however many times you do it, just make sure you always, always, always enjoy your legal vices. Law Rack saying peace out. Stay tuned. We might be back in 6 hours. We might be back on Sunday.
all right. Sorry, guys. I actually like this guy better.
Federal brass. But smaller companies, Starline itself doesn't make any ammo, loaded ammo. They just make
It's the one that
but smaller production
controlling
companies
the
that make
ammo, isn't it?
specialty application ammo,
Shooting
like
it
cowboy
on set.
action shooting ammo. They will make use of Starline. They'll buy 100,000 pieces of brass from Starline and use it in their manufacturing process. Seth Kenny just didn't know that, I guess. Kyle says, Kenny is trying to throw heat on Hannah, so I think he's glad to cloud the issues. Yep. Snake in the grass. He seems like that kind of guy to me, but this is how humans are. So he's worried about his own potential. He doesn't want to get targeted for this. Did the live round come from Seth Kenny? Was he criminally reckless in not ensuring what he provided to the set of Rust was not lethal? Yeah, Law Self-Defense member Distant says, I have a ton of those MTM boxes, and all my ammo is haphazardly thrown in green cans. So, yeah, I mean, if you shoot in any volume, folks, like when I was shooting IDPA actively, I would show up to the range with one of these, canvas bags about this big with a couple handles. They give them away when you go to major matches. I don't know, maybe 1,000 loose rounds of 45 ACP or 9mm or whatever. I stopped using the MTM boxes after the first year of competitive shooting. But I was only ever shooting one type of ammo at a given time. So I was in my 1911 phase and I was shooting 45 ACP and it was all the same, 200 grain wad cutter, 4.3 grains of unique or whatever it was. But they were all the same. So I didn't need to, there was nothing to sort to distinguish. And they were fine in the canvas bag. Same with 9mm when I was shooting 9mm. But if I was a guy who shot different kinds of ammo, or if I was going to the range to test a variety of loads, different powder weights, different bullet weights, obviously those rounds I'd want to keep organized when I was chronographing, checking the velocity of those rounds. And in this context, when you have dummies and then you have blanks of 1/8, 1/4, 1/2 full power, all that stuff needs to be kept segregated from everything else. It is amazing how inconsistent these people's knowledge of ammo is. Whether they, especially with the Hannah, this was a big problem with Detective Hancock. She's interrogating Hannah Gutierrez, and she herself, Detective Hancock, doesn't understand the difference between a spent cartridge, a live round, the variety of dummy rounds, no primer, hole in case, BBs inside, and the different forms of blanks. So if you don't understand what you're asking about, don't be surprised when the responses you get back are ambiguous or inconsistent. And it doesn't lead to good response data from the suspect that's helpful in building a case or determining that they're not implicated. It helps to know what you're talking about, is the point. Even how they refer to guns, right? The terminology that Brian Carpenter, who seems quite competent, was using is somewhat different than we've heard from other people in terms of what's a live gun, what's a prop. So the movie people were calling a prop, everything is a prop. Even to them, even a real firearm capable of shooting a projectile is a prop when it's being used in the course of producing a movie. It's still a real gun. Brian Carpenter was distinguishing between a prop, which would be, it sounded like in his mind, a rubber gun, like a blue gun, painted black, presumably. And I've seen those. I've seen those in like with extras. They're going to be in the background. People in uniform with patrol rifles, AR-type rifles in their back, and every once in a while you'll see a barrel is kind of crooked because it's a rubber gun and it got dropped and it got bent. Not very useful for close-ups because they look pretty fake. Or you could have a replica, which is something that looks a lot like the actual firearm, but can't fire a bullet. Sometimes these are BB guns. Some of the BB guns they make these days that resemble actual firearms. Sometimes they can be more sophisticated replicas. There are replicas that they look and function almost exactly like a real gun. The controls, the slide moves back and forth, the magazine comes out, but they don't have a real chamber. You can't fire a real gun, a real bullet out of them. And then a real gun. So props, Brian Carpenter would call props just the rubber guns. And then replicas function like a real gun but can't fire a bullet. And then real guns. I certainly agree with them that anytime a real gun is on the set, whether it's going to be fired or loaded or whatever, that ought to be an armorer day. An armorer has to be responsible for a gun, an actual gun that's capable of firing a bullet. No question about that. The notion that you'd have real guns on set and the armorer is off doing prop duties is ridiculous. Yeah, Legal Vices in the chat. Legal Vices is doing his own coverage of this trial, by the way, folks. So you should feel free to pop out of here and pop into there. Maybe you'd like, we all have different perspectives. But yeah, Jeff, I was indeed having a heart attack about the lack of muzzle discipline in those little video clips they were showing Brian Carpenter. And Jeff, if you ever want to hop on here, just let me know. I'll send you a guest link, even if you can only pop in for a minute. Your company is only appreciated.
All right. Well, I got tons of stuff I got to do, guys. Tons of stuff I got to do. So I'm going to kill. I'm going to kill this stream. How long we've been going? Just over 2 hours. All right, guys. I may be back later today. I'm going to be tinkering with the new phone. Thanks everybody who actually hung out and watched things while I was working. It's pretty much not today went. Fuck. All right, let's play this outro. Peace.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make every everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so weak.